because they give up.
Yeah.
I've seen it time and
true.
now, changing the subject, why don't do you have a case you can talk about to the listeners about one of your ghost hunting cases you went on and kind of infatuated?
I would love to. Yeah, we've done a lot in the last lot of years, but the one that and if I could say this, the one that really sticks to my head and I have not been able to let go, every day I hang on to it is, okay, so if I may say this, please don't take this wrong, the episode that I did with Ghost Adventures. I did an episode a little over a year ago, with Ghost Adventures with the crew, and it was for Kennedy Mines in Jackson, California, and episode 16, I guess, I don't know, episode 3, season 16 or whatever it may have been. But look, before I tell you that though, I was never looking for TV. Okay, so let's get that straight. But it just happened. Is when I did that, I was actually at a location. It was in the mines back in. Where 47 miners died. It was the biggest tragedy in California, I think it was, where 47 miners lost their lives. I don't know how many miles down in the earth, 4.5 miles down. And I went to we went to this investigation at the top of the hill where the miners would bring their gold in, and they turn it in at the end of the day, and it would be weighed and they'd be paid out. And it was myself, my wife, and a couple other people were at the building at the top of the hill. And we were investigating. We got a few EVPs. We got some whispers. And, it was good stuff. It was a lot of fun. We went back the next day and this was during the day. Now, remember, you don't need to investigate only at nighttime. During the day, it's the same thing. We were at the third floor, I think it was, and we're working our way down. My wife and I were looking for this antenna that we lost. It was one of my friends there. We lost an antenna and investigated in the middle of the night. And as we're walking down the stairs, my wife was about 2 or 3 steps ahead of me going down the stairs. And I was literally deeply scratched along my backside, and I screamed like the biggest girl you could. I lost my mind. I was crying. I was going down. I couldn't believe it. It was hot, and I lost my mind. And during that time, I went down the stairs, and I had no idea what really happened, other than everything went really confusing for me. It was something that it just blew me away. And that being said, it's this place is no more than 50 miles away from us, and I've been back one time, and I'll never go back again, as far as I know. For closure, I thought I had closure with Ghost Adventures, but at the same time, it was. I still think about it. It's something that Zach said to me was, if I could bring up his name, it was affected when you're scratched, and I call it branded. And that was the question he said to me is, what do you mean by branded? And I said, I feel branded because I live with it every single day still. I live with it. And it's something that I'll never, ever let go. And it's something that will be inside me. I'm not saying Zach's right. It's his opinion, but I do feel that he's very strong with his words, and I do respect him. It's something that I'll always feel for the rest of my days on this planet, because I'll never forget it. And I do believe it's something that's always going to be inside me, if that makes any sense, just by being branded by that day. And I'll never be able to forget.
Did it feel evil?
It felt angry. When it comes to paranormal investigating, everybody has their opinions. My opinion is this: everybody always seems to get scratched on the back, the belly, the neck. It's always on the backside, and it's why is it always on the back? I don't know if we leave here and we have no sense of direction. If you're paranormal, you're on the other side of the veil. Do we know how to, after we leave, or do we have any control of how much we reach out and how strong we reach out? I mean, as far as I know, maybe they don't mean to scratch us. Maybe they just mean to just get our attention. And, to answer your question, I remember I just felt angry that I wanted to hurt my wife. When I went down the stairs, I was feeling angry, like I wanted to hurt her. And it was nothing that, in honest 30 years of marriage, and one of the questions Zach, he asked me the same thing from Ghost Adventures was, did you want to hurt your wife? And I said, yes. And I've never laid a hand on her 30 years we've been together. And nor that anybody should ever touch another female. Let's get that straight. But, it's the fact that I never did. And I wanted to for the very first time. And I blame it on whatever did scratch me, what did. enter my body, I do blame that situation.
How long was it in your body? Did it come and go, or did you have to cleanse yourself, or what happened?
No, my wife, I had to cleanse myself. Absolutely. With holy water. I went from holy water to being smudged, to be prayed on, everything in the world. There's only a few things you can actually do that I know of from my perspective is, there's certain people that do this or that. Those are the things back in, a year and a half ago. It was the only thing that we did. And did it work? It worked for that matter of time. But to this day, I still have flashes of stuff I can't explain. And I felt like I was gonna, am I dying, or is something living inside me? I mean, it was a weird situation, but anytime that you leave any investigation or anything, it doesn't matter. You need to, I feel, my opinion, and make sure I use opinion correctly because people know, it's just my opinion is you need to cleanse yourself. If it's holy water, or if it's, basically praying, whatever you believe in, whatever higher, if you believe in a lucky bottle cap that you keep in your pocket, just hang on to that and keep that as your grounding material. And what I mean by that, if you feel that you're okay, then you're going to be okay. You need to find something that you feel confidence in, that you, or like a lucky penny, then you'll be okay. But, I do believe that, you need to ground yourself, cleanse yourself, smudge yourself, whatever it may be after any location, because I do believe in attachments. I've had so many, I say so many, I've probably had a good few attachments, from the Amador Courthouse and Jail in Jackson, California. That's a jail cell that is extremely haunted. Been there a few times. I've been scratched. I've been there 3 times or 4 times, and I've been scratched 3 out of 4 times in a jail cell there. It's a haunted jail. I've had, with EVPs backing it up, with other people being on camera, and we getting an EVP, a lady would ask, what did you scratch him with? And you would have a whisper with people around you. And I remember it said, I'm going to whisper it, but it said this. And we heard the word knife, and we're like, holy schmuckers.
Oh, wow.
And it just, it's just one of those situations is that you need to understand, not you, of course, sir, but people need to understand that, you've got to go into any paranormal investigation thinking the worst and hoping for the best. Because some people enjoy it. You have certain shows out there that enjoy meeting demons or enjoy the negativity. I'd rather not, please. But if I do, I do. So I go into it grounding myself. My wife really makes sure that I ground myself, because I will go into it like, let's say James, he's a great investigator himself, is, I go into it like I want everything. I don't want to be attacked, but I want everything. And that's why I investigate. I'm not going there to get nothing. I'm going there to get something. And sometimes I forget to ground myself, I don't hold hands with people before investigations. I don't know if whoever is there, if it's a group of 3 or 5 or whatever it may be, someone could have a really crappy day and holding so much negativity in their mind because they had such a bad day. I don't want that to be passed along to me. It's a weird way to think, but I was very lucky to learn something from somebody, and I don't mean to throw these names out. I've met some great people in the paranormal field, but Elizabeth Saint, I got to work with her a few years back, and she taught me something. Is you walk when you go to a location, go off by yourself, walk, and see if anything changes for you, because everybody's different. See when you walk around the walls and stuff. See if you feel different as you walk past rooms. And she taught me that, and I do that to this day. And it does change. Different energies change. It's kind of like when you're driving your car. You want to turn left, but also I'm going to turn right today. Maybe you're supposed to turn left, but you turn right, and nothing happened to you. I listen to my gut. And I go with my gut all the time. And but I hope I answered your question there. I talk a lot, and I do apologize.
You're a great guest. It's better than getting somebody on that won't even talk, and that happens occasionally, right, James?
Oh, yes, it does, unfortunately. And no, George has got a treasure trove of information, and he's not afraid to talk. So, yeah, thanks for sharing these experiences, George. Appreciate it. Much appreciated.
Oh, no worries, James. And Judge, I will say this, you've been a warrior to me too. You've been there for me too. When it comes to paranormal investigators or paranormal anything, there's good and bad. And I'm talking with the living. And I will say this, that James has been there for myself and my small circle of friends. I've gone from a big circle of friends to a small circle of friends, which is so smart in the paranormal world. But James is definitely a warrior. Definitely a warrior, and he's a great listener. So I do have to say that I'm very blessed to have him in my life, for sure.
Oh, he's a nice guy.
You're all making me blush.
Oh, yeah, you have a right to. But I got to ask you a question. Ghost boxes. I can't get into it myself, only because my electronic background. I've been in electronics almost all my life since I was like 12 years old. And I know how I bought a couple of ghost boxes. I looked at them. I listened to them. Then I went and figured out what they were doing. And they're just scanning the frequencies back and forth. And tell me if I'm wrong. Sometimes I just get the impression that some ghost hunters get these things. They want to hear a certain word. And as it's scanning, they pick out that certain word. And see, I heard it right there. There it is. There's our answer.
No. It's so fun. Okay, everything I say is my opinion, so I want to make sure people don't get bad messages tomorrow. But my opinion on those are I don't use them. If anything could be altered, I'm outside of Silicon Valley, and any type of computer, anything can be altered. Any type of anything, people can alter anything, and you're absolutely right. It's just radio frequencies playing backwards, etc., and it picks up words. And it to me, you know what? If you have to use that, then you're not really paranormal investigating. I don't believe in any of those stuff unless somebody can actually change my mind and they can say, "Here's an app." Now, there's some good apps out there. Please don't get me wrong. There's some great people, but my opinion is only because I have a hard time accepting it, and it's because I'm not a very high techie when it comes to computer. Now, somebody can say, "Look, George tried this." And when you ask his name, he's going to say his name, and every question that you say is going to be answered. Then maybe you can change my mind. But there's some people out there with great apps, so please don't take me that I'm being rude. I am just an old-fashioned paranormal investigator. I have spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on stuff that I don't use anymore because I do feel that, when it comes to those apps, that, it's like, I don't know. The Ghost Box, I don't know, man. What if we just put that away and let's just go old school? Let's just use an EVP recorder. Just use your gut. Let's use the so-called, which I don't believe in gifts and abilities that people have. I think we all have abilities. I think we all have gifts. I do believe that we all have gifts and abilities. It's just some of us are more patient with them. And you know what? I do believe everybody out there is a paranormal investigator. It's just some people are just too afraid to do it. But, it's being a paranormal investigator, all that other stuff, put it on the shelf. And somebody's going to get mad at me for saying that. And I'm not saying that it's not great stuff. This guy just doesn't use it. I just don't use that stuff. I use dowsing rods. My wife does, actually. Okay, and I use an EVP recorder.
Hey, George, I got to interrupt you here because we got to go break with the radio stations. And then James is going to give the paranormal Earth changes news report. So we'll be back in about 8 minutes. So if you want to get a cup of jab, a cup of tea like I'm drinking, George, we'll be back.
Salt, right? I'm going to get some salt.
Okay, we'll be back.
Borealis starlit crown arches over the Puget Sound. Berenice's hair drapes her